This tutorial video will provide you with an overview of how to use Mecklenburg County Air Quality's electronic asbestos NESHAP notification system, also known as GovOnline. When you first start a NESHAP notification submittal, you should notice there is a yellow box at the top of the form that provides some useful information. Be sure to review it before you get started. As you start on the form, you will notice that the system pre-fills the Applicant Information section using the information for the person whose account is logged into. If someone else is completing the form, you should update this information to identify who is filling out the form. Each of the fields that is required in this section is marked with a red asterisk. Also, if something comes up and you have to stop your work on the form, please note that there is a Save button at the bottom of the form that you should periodically click to save your progress. In Section 1, you will need to provide a description of the building that is being renovated and/or demolished, as seen in this example. The required fields are marked with an asterisk. To help NESHAP quickly process the notification, please provide any available information you have to describe the structure that is being renovated and/or demolished. In Section 2, you should identify the type of notification and operation that you are notifying NESHAP about. In this example, we are submitting an original notification for a demolition and renovation. Next up is Section 3. This is where you provide contact information for the building owner and for the contractors involved in the asbestos removal and/or demolition of a structure. First, you can see that we have provided the contact information for the building owner in this example. You must have all of the information about the owner that is marked with the red asterisk in order to submit the form. Next, we have provided information about the asbestos removal contractor. Since this is a notification for a renovation and demolition, we also need to complete Section 3C. Anytime you are notifying for a demolition, move-off, ordered demolition, or intentional burn, this section must be completed. In this example, the asbestos removal and demolition contractor is the same. So, you can see that by clicking the checkbox beside Same as 3B, the information above has been copied into this section. You could also choose to type out the information again, but I'm all about finding ways to save time. Section 3D is optional and can be used if there is a general contractor or other contractors or operators that you would like to include on the notification form. In Section 4, you have to provide information that demonstrates that a thorough inspection has been conducted in the structure that you are submitting a notification for. In this example, there is asbestos present, so we have selected Yes for the first question. Next, we will provide the inspector's information and the procedures used to evaluate the presence of asbestos. For question 4B, you should know that if you select Sample and Test, you will be required to submit an asbestos survey with your notification. If you select Visual Inspection, you will have to explain the process that was used. Your description should be detailed so that NESHAP can clearly understand how the presence of asbestos was determined. If your explanation is incomplete, it is possible that it could delay the processing of your notification. Lastly, you can choose to presume that suspect materials present in a structure are ACM. You will need to check the box beside Presume ACM if you choose to do this. Section 5 is where we will actually describe the ACM that is present in the structure. In this section, you should list the ACM that was identified in the asbestos survey by visual inspection and/or materials that are presumed ACM. You will also have to indicate ACM quantities, measurement units, classification, and what will happen to the material. To list the ACM that is present in a structure, you must click on the Add Material button. This opens up a table where you can describe any ACM that was identified, as seen in this example. Once you have added all of the ACM that was identified in the structure, you can move on to Section 6. Here, we will provide work dates for the asbestos removal and demolition. There is an informational section here to help you with the selection of the work dates. The earliest start date for the regulated removal of the ceiling texture in this example is March 28th, which is what we have listed as the start date. The end date for this example is March 30th. We have also selected a demolition start and end date. Since the demolition is regulated, March 28th is also the earliest possible demolition start date for this example. Next up is Section 7, the Work Practices and Procedures section. This is where we indicate how the ACM we listed above will be removed and how the structure will be demolished. Also, we must click on the checkbox in Section 7B to certify that required work practices will be used during the renovation and/or demolition. Be sure to read the certification statement carefully before you move on. Sections 8 and 9 only apply if the notification is for an ordered demolition and/or emergency renovation, as defined in the Asbestos NESHAP regulation. We can skip these sections since neither of these apply to this example. Section 10 applies to notifications that include asbestos removal. Here we have provided information about the asbestos waste transporter and waste disposal site. The last step on this page is to certify the asbestos NESHAP notification. You should thoroughly read the certification statement and ensure that the information you are providing is correct before checking this box. Once you have clicked on the certification checkbox, you can click Next. If you are not ready to go to the next page, you can click Save to make sure that you do not lose any of your work. On the next page, you will see the Attachments section. This is where you will see any required documents that should be submitted with your notification. This can include the asbestos survey report if you check Sample and Test on the notification form. Also, if you indicated that the notification is for an ordered demolition, you will see that you are required to submit a demolition order on this page. Based on the information we provided in this example notification form, you can see that an asbestos survey is required. You can select online to attach an electronic copy of the asbestos survey report. Then you can upload the file as seen here in this example. If you are going to submit the survey using another method, select Other and describe how it will be submitted. It is important to note that if you do not submit the survey online, your notification will be considered incomplete until we receive the asbestos survey. This could cause you to have to delay the start date for any regulated work, depending on how long it takes for us to receive the report. If there is any other documentation that you would like to submit with your notification, you can do so by selecting the appropriate radio button in the Supporting Documents section. Once you are done with the attachments, click the Next button to see a summary page. The last step is to certify your submission. Read the certification statement carefully, then click the checkbox. Also, you will have to answer the security question based on the information you provided when you created your account, and enter your PIN to complete the certification for the submission. Once you click on the Submit button, the notification is sent to MCAC. You will get a confirmation of your submittal on the next screen, which you can print. You should also receive an email that will contain a PDF copy of your form, as well as other important information for tracking and updating the notification. If you don't see the confirmation in your email inbox, be sure to check your junk email or spam folder. Thanks for watching this tutorial, and as always, please do not hesitate to contact MCAC if you have any questions.